We're going to head back to the south of America now. The earthquake in Mexico has triggered a tsunami, and the earthquake, which was of 8 on the Richter scale, struck off the southern coast of Mexico and shook the buildings in the capital city as well. The earthquake was on the southern coast of Mexico. The details that we're getting right now indicates that the Interior Minister of Mexico has said that the earthquake killed at least 2 people in the southern Mexican state of Chiapas. Now, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center has issued concerns over the tsunami in not just Mexico but other countries in its neighborhood. The epicenter of that quake was 123 kilometers southwest of the town of Pijiapan at a depth of 33 kilometers. An alert, of course, was issued for 8 countries, while Mexico's Civil Protection Agency says that this was the strongest earthquake to hit the country since a devastating 85 tremor that toppled buildings and killed thousands back in 1985. Those visuals on your screen indicating to you that this happened late at night. People reportedly running out of their homes, wearing their pajamas and their slippers during this nighttime quake. Now, the Interior Minister has just released a statement saying that the earthquake has killed at least 2 people in the southern Mexican state of Chiapas. Now, the tsunami alert was issued almost immediately after the earthquake struck off the coast of Mexico, and now we're hearing that it has indeed triggered a tsunami in the western coast of Mexico. The earthquake measured 8.0 on the Richter scale. It hit the southern coast of Mexico and shook buildings as far as in the capital. Now, as per the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, the epicenter was about 123 kilometers southwest of the town of Pijiapan. Remember, this region is very close to the border that Mexico has with its southern neighbor, Guatemala. As a result, 8 other countries received a tsunami warning, Guatemala and Nicaragua included. Joining me live on the broadcast for more on that story is WION Senior Foreign Editor Padma Rao. Padma, what more do we know at this point about the region, really speaking, where this earthquake has hit, and other details that you could share with us at this point?
Aisha, this earthquake is hit, as you rightly said, on the western coast of Mexico. If the camera could zoom in here a little bit, I have it right on my screen. This is the state of Chiapas. It's one of the poorest states of Mexico. It's also its southernmost state. Mexico consists of 32 states, including a federal area. And the Chiapas is a region which has actually survived on agriculture. It's home to a lot of indigenous populations. And, it has consistently felt neglected. There were several uprisings. There was an uprising in 1994 known as the Zapatista uprising, which finally managed to get some concessions for the indigenous populations. But it's still one of the poorest, and it is a place which is relatively isolated. It has a population of about 3.4 million citizens, and they're still considered among the poorest of Mexico. So it will remain to be seen, how they deal with this. Having said that, Mexico is, of course, it's not a banana republic. It has infrastructure, and Chiapas is very well connected by highways, and so one can hope that this area has been evacuated. It's also the home to some very ancient Mayan ruins, and indeed, if I can show you, it is unfortunately, it happens to be, if you can zoom in on this, this is Chiapas, and it's in practically a zone that appears to be very vulnerable seismically. So it will remain to be seen, Aisha, as to how soon they manage to evacuate these people who live there. As I said, it's a population of about 3.2 million people.
Absolutely, Padma. Thanks. Also, given the fact that you're saying that 3.2 million people live in that area, but we're also waiting for more details. Right now, the Interior Minister has mentioned that 2 people have died in the southern Mexican state of Chiapas. Padma, also the fact that there was a tsunami warning issue, that only causes greater degree of concern for Mexico. And it is late at night over there, so more worries for providing providing immediate relief and rescue to the people who might have been affected.
Yes, let's not forget there was a terrible earthquake not very far, not very long ago in Guatemala. And but one thing can be said, this is a region that is relatively well monitored for earthquakes, because as I showed to you on the map, it is in a vulnerable, seismically vulnerable zone, and quite a lot of earthquakes do occur there. Having said that, you know, as you point out, Ayesha, it happened in the middle of the night, so one can just hope that there has been, you know, sort of lightning fast response to those tsunami warnings.
Absolutely. Thank you, Padma, very much for joining us on the broadcast with those details and helping us understand the lay of the land and how this region is prone to earthquakes. We'll get back to Padma and other details as and when they come in on that earthquake that's hit Mexico.